Um, Hi guys, welcome to, I think this is the fourth vlog for the Stylish Lesbian. Can't remember, I'm pretty sure it's number 4. Yeah, I haven't done a vlog in a few weeks. I don't know, I've just been busy or lazy or had trouble thinking of things to talk about. Yeah, someone suggested that I do a vlog about my disability and life with a disability, which is what today's gonna be about. Yeah, but before we get into that, I've obviously cut my hair, as a lot of you know. Yay, short hair. Yeah, I've had a pretty shitty afternoon. I went to go grocery shopping and I realised I didn't have my wallet. And then because I live just above my supermarket, I went, okay, I'll go upstairs. I didn't have my keys either, so I couldn't even get into my building, let alone my apartment. So that was not very fun. And as such, I'm not leaving the house again if that's what happens today, if I go out. So I'm here filming vlog. Anyway, on to the main subject of my disability. Now I know you guys have noticed that I have disability written in my sidebar. Yes, I do have a disability. I have a physical disability. And those of you who have actually bothered to read my frequently asked questions page will know that it's called Cerebral palsy. I use a wheelchair, which I'm presently in at the moment. Wheelchair. Yeah, I've had cerebral palsy from birth, virtually. I was born 15 weeks early, which is just over 3 months. No one can really say exactly what caused cerebral palsy, but more or less it's the result of brain damage to the part of the brain that controls movement and muscle tone, either at, before, or during birth, or shortly after. So yeah, no idea what could have caused it. Could have been lack of oxygen, any number of medication I was given as a baby. Who knows? No one knows, no one ever will know. But the cool thing is, if I have a look at the scan of my brain, you can actually see there's like little black bits in the cerebellum where the brain tissues kind of just died. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But physically, having cerebral palsy is like my legs and my feet won't always do what I tell them to do. They won't always move the way I'm asking them to move. You know, things like wiggling my toes. If I want to purposely wiggle my toes, like if someone says to me, wiggle your toes, I have to really concentrate and really think about it. And even then, sometimes it won't happen. And sometimes it's quite annoying because people go to me, oh, why can't, you know, like, I should just be able to do this stuff, and I can't. But yeah, yeah, I've pretty much had my disability my whole life. People seem to think that that makes my life bad or worse or something, but I completely disagree. It's my life as I've known it for 22 years. I have nothing else to compare it to. It's not that bad, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, you know, having a disability and being in a wheelchair is just something that's, well, being in a wheelchair isn't something that's always been part of my life, but having a disability has always been part of my life. I got a wheelchair when I was in the 5th grade. I was about 10 years old. Yeah, it was yellow. This is my second wheelchair. It's blue. But yeah, and I got the wheelchair because while I can walk, walking used a lot of energy. Like, I would be too tired to concentrate on school because I was using all my energy just walking around and moving. And I wasn't gaining any weight, no matter how much I ate. You know, it was getting to the point where the doctor said that if I didn't gain weight, they were going to put in a gastric feeding tube and, yeah, pretty much feed me that way. Apparently my mother, people have told me who knew me back then, like physios and stuff, have said that my mother was really against the idea of getting a wheelchair for me. I remember getting in it the first time and thinking it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, so amazing. Like, I could keep up with my friends, you know, I could go where I had to go without being tired. I wasn't always worried about falling over. Yeah, it was really good. I wasn't worried about being pushed over. I wasn't, you know, because kids, they run around, they're crazy, they don't pay attention, they just run into you, and I would just fall over. It's really easy for me to fall over. Still is. Last year I fell over and I broke my foot. I also wear these things. They're basically a giant orthotic that goes all the way up to just below my knee and has got an ankle joint. And yeah, that basically keeps my foot flat when I stand or walk mostly. I don't always wear them. Obviously, I'm not wearing them right now. But they do help, and I normally wear them if I'm somewhere that I know I'm going to have to get up and walk. Like, I wear them to the gym, and just anywhere that I'm not sure if it's going to be wheelchair accessible, I will just put them on anyway. Because I'd rather have them on if I do need to walk than end up somewhere and have like 20 steps to hobble down in proper shoes. But yeah, having a disability, you know, it just means you've got to plan more, I suppose. Like, when I, you know, go to a hotel, I normally like to make sure that they either have a plastic chair that I can have in the shower so I don't slip over and fall, so I sit down in the shower, or, you know, make sure that there's a bathtub. Obviously most hotels these days have a lift, so that's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, in shopping centres, you know, it's fine to lift. It's not too bad in general. I mean, you know, yeah. The thing that's most annoying probably is other people and how they talk to people with disabilities and, you know, what they say to us. Like, they either stare at us and it's like we're something in a carnival sideshow, or they're really kind of patronising and like, oh, poor thing, blah blah blah, what a horrible life you have, I hope you get out of the wheelchair. It's kind of offensive. Like, I'm not a sideshow freak, I'm not something for you to stare at, I'm not, no, please don't do that, I'm not an animal in a zoo. And, you know, don't assume that my life is bad just because I'm in a wheelchair. It might not be what you would consider good. Like, you might say, oh no, that poor person's in a wheelchair, you know, and she's so young and she's so pretty. Like, I get that all the time. I get told that I'm too pretty and too young to be in a wheelchair. Like, everyone expects, you know, it to be severely disabled people who can't talk, can't walk, can't move, or, you know, elderly people, people who've had a tragic accident, whatever. They don't expect someone in their 20s, particularly a young woman, to be in a wheelchair. But guess what? Young woman in her 20s in a wheelchair. Why does that matter, you know? Like, me being pretty and stuff should automatically mean that I'm not in a wheelchair? No, it doesn't work that way. But yeah, yeah, but some people are pretty tactless. Like, yeah, I've had Christians chase me down in the middle of shopping centres to pray for me, and I'm not a religious person, I'm pretty much an atheist. Like, seriously, you tell me I'm going to hell, I'll probably laugh at you and equate that to a hippie threatening to punch me in the aura. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, what, is Santa Claus real? No. Is God real? Probably not. But yeah, you know, Christians seem to think that I'm some charity case, and that's really annoying. like, medicine can't cure my disability. Why would your so-called benevolent God be able to do it? You know, like, why? What would make you think that he can miraculously cure me? Like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and my cerebral palsy will suddenly have disappeared. It's not gonna happen. By the way, there are different types and strengths of cerebral palsy. Technically, I believe mine is called Spastic diplegia, which means it's my lower legs, like my, you know, pretty much hips and lower. Occasionally my hands are a bit affected. Normally if I'm really, really, really tired, my hands will start shaking. But yeah, for the most part it means that, you know, I'm weirdly kind of flexible in ways I shouldn't be, and my muscle tone for the most part is pretty normal, but sometimes I have big spikes and big dips. Like when I was a kid, I could be standing up 1 minute and then the next second I'd be sitting on the floor because the muscle tone in my legs would just drop. And yeah, it was kind of fun. That doesn't happen too much anymore. And the other side of that is that I sometimes get really big spikes in muscle tone. Usually when I have a hot cup of coffee or tea in my hand, it'll, you know, it causes my legs to come up. It's basically like when someone scares you and you jump. That's what it's like. Loud noises, people opening doors unexpectedly. My sister laughs about it. She likes to open doors on me while I'm in the bath and stuff just to watch me splash water everywhere. Yeah. And I get a lot of bruises on my knees because of that. And it's kind of funny. People laugh about it. I laugh about it. It's all good. Yeah. Sometimes I get painful spasms, but not often. You know. It's my life. But yeah, you know, growing up, yeah, there was the odd bit of bullying, the odd bit of people being little shits. But you know, when you're different to everyone else, and you know, being disabled, of course you are different. It's unavoidable, but you know, everyone's different. Everyone is different. It's just not the normal different. You know, I mean, most of the time it was pretty alright. I had a lot of friends who had disabilities of some kind. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it was life and it was fine, and yeah, it doesn't impact my life a great deal too often. But yeah, I mean, it's disability and disabled rights and disabled visibility and all that is something that I'm obviously quite passionate about. Potentially more passionate about than I am about LGBT issues. But then again, probably not. But in the LGBT community, there's a definite underrepresentation of disabled people or differently abled people, as there is in all aspects of life, like disabled people, what? The most annoying thing is probably that, you know, we're not considered attractive beings. Like, we're not considered people that someone else would want to have a relationship with. Like, we're kind of treated like children. You know, we're looked at as we're incapable of having relationships, we're incapable of having sex, we're incapable of, yeah, having that lasting connection with someone. Like, when someone looks at me in the street, anyone, like, it's normally pity and disability. You know, it's not, hey, she's cute, I might go and chat her up and get her number. No, it's, oh, she's in a wheelchair, that's sad. And then it doesn't really go any further than that. So yeah, like, it takes a pretty special person, I think, to want to be with someone with a disability, just because of the social stigma that, like, for some reason, you know, we don't want the same things in life as everyone else. Of course we do. You know, I want a girlfriend, I want someone to love, I want someone to love me. I want all that. Of course I want all that. You know, just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I don't want those things. You know, just because someone has a mental disability doesn't mean they don't want those things. My sister's blind and she's straight, but she wants a boyfriend, you know, she wants someone to spend her life with. I mean, not right now, but, you know, she does. But yeah, it's just really frustrating that we're treated like, you know, we're these second-class citizens, in a way. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. Anyway, this has probably been really nonsensical and I'm really sorry. If you have any more questions that isn't the basic what's your disability thing, if you are gonna ask that question, for God's sakes, read my frequently asked questions page. If you don't, I will probably bitch you out, okay, and rip your face off, because I get that question all the time and I'm so fucking sick of it. Don't ask me that. Just read the frequently asked questions page and be done with it. But if you have any more questions about what it's like living with a disability, yeah, hit me up. I also have mental illness as well, but that can be another vlog for another time. But yeah, that's all. Bye. Comments below on YouTube. Social media can be found up the top. And yeah.